Ronan Graves, The Hunters Gambit. The night air was thick with tension, the scent of rain mingling with the distant smoke of city factories. Ronan Graves stood on the rooftop, his leather coat whipping in the wind as he surveyed the streets below. The neon glow of New Raven City reflected off his tactical visor, scanning the endless maze of alleyways and high-rise towers. Somewhere down there, Silas Vane was hiding, the most dangerous fugitive Ronan had ever been hired to track. But this wasn't just another bounty. Silas wasn't just some criminal. He held a secret that could burn the world to the ground. And Ronan wasn't sure if he was here to capture him or to kill him. The contract, the job had come in like any other. A shadowy client, a briefcase full of cash, and a simple directive. Find Silas Vane. Bring him in alive. It wasn't until Ronan started digging that he realized just how deep this rabbit hole went. Silas had been a government scientist, working on classified projects that never made it into the headlines. Then, 6 months ago, he vanished, along with a drive containing classified information. Information people were willing to kill for. The client hadn't told Ronan what was on that drive. They didn't have to, because in New Raven City, secrets were deadlier than bullets. A trail of ghosts. Ronan's search had taken him through the underbelly of the city. Backroom poker games, underground fight clubs, and places where even the police didn't tread. He followed whispers, tracked dead leads, left bodies behind when necessary. Finally, after 2 weeks of chasing shadows, he found his answer. Silas was hiding in District 17, the worst part of New Raven, where the lights barely reached and the air smelled of desperation. Ronan's fingers tightened around the grip of his pistol as he leapt from the rooftop, landing silently in a deserted alley. His visor flickered, scanning for movement. There, a faint heat signature, 20 meters ahead. Silas wasn't alone. Someone had gotten to him first. A deadly standoff. Ronan moved like a ghost, weaving through the abandoned street until he reached the broken remains of an old warehouse. The massive metal doors were slightly ajar, revealing flickering lights inside. He stepped through, gun raised. The air was thick with the smell of blood. Silas stood in the center of the room, his back against a desk littered with papers and hard drives. His white shirt was stained crimson, a bullet wound just below his ribs. His breaths were shallow, but his eyes burned with something stronger than pain, defiance. And across from him stood Victor Calloway, the last man Ronan wanted to see tonight. "You're late, Graves," Calloway drawled, spinning a silencer-clad pistol in his gloved hand. "I already found him for you." Ronan kept his aim steady. "Put the gun down, Calloway." The rival bounty hunter smirked. "You don't want him alive, Ronan. You just don't know it yet." Silas coughed, gripping his wound. "They sent you both after me?" he rasped. "That means they're scared." Calloway's smirk faded. "They don't want you talking, which is why I need to," Silas shot back. His gaze flickered to Ronan. "You think you're hunting a fugitive? You're just cleaning up their mess." Ronan frowned. "What's on the drive, Vane?" Silas hesitated, then exhaled. "The truth," Calloway sighed. "I hate this part." And then he fired. Betrayal and bloodshed. Ronan moved before he even thought. His bullet slammed into Calloway's arm, sending his shot wide. Silas dove behind the desk as Calloway snarled in pain, clutching his wound. "You're making a mistake, Graves," he growled. Ronan didn't hesitate. He lunged, grabbing Calloway by the collar and slamming him into the wall. His gun pressed under his chin. "You work for them, don't you?" Ronan whispered. Calloway's grin was bloody. "We all work for someone, Ronan." Silas coughed. "He's right. The people who hired you, they own half this city. They've buried their crimes for decades. And now, they want me buried too." Ronan's jaw tightened. He had spent years hunting killers, criminals. But if what Silas was saying was true, then this time he was on the wrong side. Calloway's fingers twitched. Ronan noticed too late. a hidden knife flashing fast. Pain ripped through Ronan's side as the blade found flesh. He stumbled back. Calloway took his chance, grabbing his gun from the floor. But before he could fire, Silas shot first. The bullet tore through Calloway's skull, sending blood and bone across the warehouse floor. His body hit the ground, lifeless. Silas collapsed back, breathing heavily. Ronan pressed a hand to his wound, cursing under his breath. "That was your last bullet, wasn't it?" he muttered. Silas gave a weak smirk. "Lucky shot," Ronan exhaled. "Tell me what's on the drive, the truth that could burn the world." Silas reached into his pocket and tossed him a small USB. "This," he said, "is proof that the people who hired you are running a secret program, one that manufactures wars for profit. They create the chaos. They fund both sides. And when the dust settles, they sell the solutions." Ronan stared at the tiny device. This wasn't just another bounty. This was a death sentence. He could turn Silas in, take the money, walk away, or he could burn the whole system to the ground. Silas studied him. "You still have a choice, Graves." Ronan closed his fist around the drive. "No, he didn't." Epilogue. The hunter becomes the hunted. By morning, Ronan and Silas were gone. The body of Victor Calloway was found in the warehouse, his employers quickly labeling him the real traitor. The official story said that bounty hunter Ronan Graves had successfully captured fugitive Silas Vane, and then disappeared without a trace. But whispers traveled fast in the underworld. Some said they had fled the country. Some said they had died. And some said Ronan Graves was still out there, hunting the people who had once hired him. Hunting them with the same deadly precision he had once used on criminals. And this time, he wouldn't stop until the whole corrupt system burned. The end. The Hunters Gambit. A story of loyalty, betrayal, and a bounty hunter who became the most wanted man in the world.